Johannesburg Labour Court heard an argument made by suspended Higher Education Director General Gwebinkundla Qonde that President Cyril Ramaphosa failed to act on allegations of corruption against Higher Minister Education. This is Blade Nzimande. Well, we're joined by the Minister's spokesperson, Ishmael Mnisi, in studio. Mr. Mnisi, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Firstly, your reaction to the outcome of the court case in the Labour Court? Well,
Kathy, we welcome the outcome of the Labour Court. It vindicates us for what we have been saying for months now in terms of the allegations that have been put against the Director General, but also it talks a lot about the processes, government processes that were followed, because of it was brought to question by many within the media and some known and unknown politicians, and we are now vindicated by that, that we're always correct, and it is, I must say, a victory to the citizens of this country, because we are talking about fighting issues of corruption, maladministration, and the capture of the state. And to us, victory goes to the South Africans.
In what ways have you been vindicated?
Well, firstly, the DG was questioning the procedures that were followed and the subsequent letters and even the ones that he wrote before to the president linking his suspension to what he raised as allegations against the minister. And the court says there is no causal link between the two, and the minister, actually the president who sanctioned the Minister of Home Affairs to lead the charge against the DG was correct in actually leveling those charges against the DG. So there were no causal link between what the DG has been raising and what ultimately the court said.
So effectively, what the Labour Court has said, that the disciplinary action taken against Mr. Qonde is not necessarily linked to the fact that he came out with information regarding the mismanagement that he alleges the Higher Education Minister was involved in with various entities. It deals with the processes of his employment, but not necessarily the substance of the allegations that he's brought against the minister.
Let's separate the two. You are very correct in making that analogy, because these are two separate issues. The DG was suspended based on the allegations that were raised, not even the allegations, the investigations that are currently taking place by the department regarding the National Skills Fund, 2-year declaration of almost 5 billion rand that is unaccounted for as the head of our department. Now, it was on the basis of that the DG was placed on a precautionary suspension. Now, he was challenging that. And in giving his account or the challenge, the basis for his challenge, he was saying that it is linked to the allegations that he has been raising with the president regarding that. Now, the court says there is no causal link between the two.
Yes, but that's fair enough, but it still doesn't deal with the substantive issues that he's raising fundamentally in as far as the allegations against the minister are concerned. And that's part of the nub of the issue. Yes, the DG very well has a case to answer to in terms of his own role at the National Skills Fund, as you were saying, but it doesn't absolve the minister of answering for the allegations that have been made against him by the DG, not least among which the fact that he encouraged him to flout procedure when it came to procurement in several tenders, including the one that became a huge scandal for NSFAS.
Let's now deal with that part. The DG has been writing to the president. The minister has been responding to each and every allegation that the DG has been raising against the minister. And other political individuals who also wrote to the president on the very same issues. We have responded to those. And they are sitting with the president. If there's anything that the minister has to answer to it, he has done it so far.
The political parties are not satisfied. They're not satisfied with the level of engagement that has taken place. And you'd find that it's across the board. The UDM, the DA, the EFF, all united in their call for further investigations into this matter. And in fact, they've gone as far as saying the president needs to have an SIU proclamation giving them permission to investigate what is happening in the higher education sector across the board, including your National Skills Fund, NSFAS, your SETAs, because the allegation is that there are always stories making the rounds about how monies are being, looted, how board members are being selected on preferences according to the minister and who are aligned to the minister, and that these issues need to be thoroughly investigated.
Kathy, we have laws and prescripts in the country. Firstly, the letter was written to the president. The minister responded to it extensively, covering each and every issue. And I think those political parties that are seeking to get that, they can write to the president and they will get the responses that the minister has given, because it was written to the president as the letters were sent to the president. Now, that I think should be covered. If there are any allegations, and the minister has come up publicly to say, if there is any allegations that are raised by whoever that so wishes be, they can approach the necessary courts, or they approach the law enforcement agencies, and then he will answer to it. And that's what we have been doing in the past 6 to 8 months. Whenever an issue was raised, be it at the National Skills Fund, be it at any of our SETAs, be it within the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, we have responded to those. We have responded to those in Parliament, both in SCOPA. We have responded to our portfolio committee, where we have shed light in as far as each and every of those allegations which were raised. And to this extent, Kathy, we have not been evasive in sharing information on whatever that is in the public and whatever that they wanted to know. And Minister Nzimande has always been there to respond to such issues, and he will continue to do so for that matter.
All right. So I guess it's a case of he may be responding, but if people are not satisfied with their answers, with the answers he's given, you're saying that, well, then that's on them.
There are procedures and structures that people must follow, and Parliament is one of them. And even those that wrote to the president, we welcome that.
And Parliament is one of those that has openly criticized the minister in terms of the accounting where it comes to some of these entities, NSFAS not being the least among them.
But he has responded, as I'm saying, that be it having been in Parliament or in whichever forum, the minister has been there to respond himself. And there is written evidence to us.
But responding doesn't mean that there is tangible action being taken to actually improve the state of these institutions and to improve the outcomes of these institutions. Because ultimately, this country is sitting with a high unemployment rate. These are the institutions that are supposed to be educating and helping to skill the young people of this country. And in as far as those outcomes are not seen in the way that they should be, given the kind of budgets that you're dealing with, there will always be questions.
Very funny enough, Kathy, because what today we are dealing with, the outcome of this court, it indicates the level of commitment that the minister has to deal with maladministration, fraud, and the capturing of the state. And nobody sees that. This is that commitment we are talking about, and that's why we have been in these institutions to respond always when there were issues raised against this kind of things that people have been alleging. We have not been evasive. The minister has always been there, and he has said it himself, that wherever there are such issues, he will respond. You'd know the issue of the NSFAS. It was dealt with extensively in Parliament, led by the minister himself, to explain each and every issues that were raised then, and any other issues that relates to the SETAs. We have openly responded to those, written to the president whenever such issues were raised. Right. Today, as we are saying, we are vindicated, South Africans are vindicated, because we are questioning that 5 billion for the past 2 consecutive financial years has not been properly accounted for. That is led by who? By the very same minister that we are saying that he's evasive. It cannot be correct.
All right, Ishmael Mnisi, we'll leave it there for tonight.